Alright, I'm back on the world again. I've gotten my items sorted out in my new starter base over here. Nothing too crazy, just some bulk block storage, some wood, my minerals, drops, and various stone blocks. I definitely didn't fit everything in there. I still have more stuff stored away in there, but this is a good start to nice organized storage. So today what I want to work on is kind of cleaning up this area a little bit, because it's sort of a mess here. And if I'm ever going to turn my animal sounds back up, I gotta get these cows away from my house. So to start, I think I'm going to build a nice big cow grazing pen, I guess you could call it. Kind of over in that area over there by the red sheep I got there for some reason, I think. And then later on can probably find a decent spot for the wheat nearby and maybe the sugar cane, but I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about that yet, since we need water to grow it, obviously. But those things can wait until later anyways. For now, I'm just gonna start getting a cow pen up, and we can go from there. Okay, so I've built a cow pen now. Let's go into free cam and get a better look at it here. So I'm pretty happy with this. It took me a little while. I'm not entirely done with it yet. I need some more hay bales, but the wheat's taken a while to grow. Actually, it's about ready to harvest again, but anyways, I got this. I was kind of going for like a grazing field sort of idea rather than just like a small pen. So I made it decently sized. I put kind of like a natural, well, not actually natural, but you know, acting as if it's natural, sort of pond here for the cows to drink out of, and a little bit of a shelter here to shelter them from the weather, and little feeding trough here that they're standing in for whatever reason. Roughed up the land a little bit with some coarse dirt and some stone buttons for like pebbles. Then for the actual fencing itself, I went for a little bit of a unique design here. I don't know how I feel about it entirely yet. I think it looks pretty decent though. I just mix a cobblestone and andesite walls with spruce fences above them. Got this little detail here in the middle of each section, an open fence gate, which kind of creates this interesting dip in the wall below it. It's kind of weird. I just discovered this while building, but you close it and you close the fence gate, and then the wall comes back up to the same level as the rest of them, but then you open it and it just drops down by a couple pixels. It's kind of weird behavior, but I thought it was a interesting little detail to try out in the build, so I went for it. And then just stripped spruce logs every so often here. Kind of tried to vary it up and not make it too uniform. each of the sections has a little bit of a different length to it between pillars. And then up here on top of the shelter, I didn't like how it looked just plain. It was too flat. So I tried mixing in some slabs, trapdoors, and buttons to kind of vary it up a little bit. I don't know if I'm 100% satisfied with this here, but I think it looks okay. I mean, it definitely looks better than when it was just completely plain. It just kind of gives it some more depth. So the next thing I'd like to do around here, I think, is start creating some sort of path to connect everything up. I mean, obviously there's not a whole lot to connect up at this point, but the plan is eventually to have buildings and farms all throughout this valley area here. And definitely gonna need some sort of path to connect it all up and make it look cohesive and flow together well. So I've already done some messing around in creative actually, and came up with a path design that I really like and think will work pretty well here. I drew inspiration from one of the path designs on Hermitcraft, this new season that's coming out now, season 10. I think it was at Pearl's base. She had this interesting mix of packed mud and rooted dirt with some of the pink petals. So I messed around with that a little bit and came up with the sort of a variation on that design. So what I want to do, I don't have really any of those blocks right now that I need, but I want to do brown mushroom blocks and the packed mud and rooted dirt for the main part of the path, and then mix in some moss with the grass along the edge just to give it some more detail, variation I guess. And then I want to do some pink petals as well, and then also mix in some azalea leaves and a few flowering azalea leaves as well, because I think the flowering leaves will go together pretty well with the pink petals. Problem is, I don't really have, like I said, I don't really have any of those materials, at least not in good quantities yet. So looks like I'm gonna have to do some exploring to get those, and some farming, I'm sure. The mushroom blocks are gonna be like the main block I think I'm gonna use for the majority of the pathway, so I'm probably gonna have to do a lot of farming up of those, which of course means making more temporary farms when I've just started cleaning up the ones I already had. I got the cow farm moved, but now still got the wheat farm, the sugarcane farm, the bees down here, and now I'm gonna have to add azalea trees and some kind of mushroom farm as well, probably. But that's fine. I'll find better places for all these things soon enough. But for now, I'm gonna have to do some exploring and try to find... Oh yeah, and I don't have moss either, so definitely gonna have to try and find one of those azalea trees above ground and get the leaves from that, get the rooted dirt under it, and then go get moss from the lush caves. And I'm not sure if I have any mushrooms, so I might have to find some of those as well before I can start farming them. And I have to farm some packed mud also, which means more wheat too, of course. Yeah, I got a lot of materials to collect. Alright, I've made it back from my adventures, and I've got what I need. Pretty much got the bare minimum. Problem is, the rooted dirt, azaleas, and moss. It's all found in the same place, sure, but I attempted to find an azalea tree that would lead me to, of course, a lot of rooted dirt and a lush cave, but it didn't work out so well. It was pretty tough trying to find one of those, so I didn't end up finding one, and realized instead I could do something a lot easier and just go shipwreck hunting and find a moss block in a shipwreck. And of course, from one moss block you can infinitely spread moss. You can get the azalea saplings and grow those up and get rooted dirt. So that's what I did. I went and found a shipwreck, but not before I found a trail ruin and did a lot of excavation. This isn't everything that I got, but it's everything that I bothered taking back with me. Also, you might notice that the game looks a little different. Of course, it's pretty obvious with the clouds here. So basically, before now, I was playing on version 1.20.1, and that's where I had all the mods downloaded, the performance mods, of course. And I accidentally loaded the world in 1.20.4 yesterday, so I obviously couldn't revert back to 1.20.1 without probably causing problems. So I had to re-download all my mods on 1.20.4. I was just going to wait for the next update, but now here we are in 1.20.4 with all my mods downloaded again, and I don't have shaders on. I just decided to try playing without the shaders for now, I guess. See how I like it. With these other visual mods helping to make it look a little better without shaders. Or I guess the next best thing to shaders anyways. But yeah, this setup is basically what B00 uses in his single player world and on Hermitcraft, so that's of course where I got the idea here. But it's like every time I watch his videos, like just the game in general looks so much better. So I thought I'd give it a try myself. Try out a couple of these mods. I mean, shaders are great and all. They definitely, I think they have a time and place, but maybe not something I want to use like all the time. But anyways, I want to get to building this path here, and that means I need to do a lot of farming. So I'm going to farm up some materials, and then I'll get started building a path, kind of connecting what I've built so far. Alright, I've finished pretty much the bulk of the moss farm now, but I've run into a bit of a problem. Got an etho hopper clock I set up down here, and of course for that I need a couple of comparators, which means I need to go to the nether and get some quartz. But yeah, let's see what we find in here. Okay, Soul Sand Valley. Oh, no way. There's a fortress right down there. Skeleton just fell off. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I gotta just find a little bit of quartz. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make those comparators, finish up the clock. That would finish the farm, at least the functional part of it, of course. But obviously this would be just manual. Manual farm, I'd have to bone meal it myself. I did think of a way I could potentially automate it. So I might mess around with that a little bit and see if I can get it to work. Hey, so I was just editing the video and looks like I forgot to record a clip here. But basically what had happened is I ran into quite the critical issue at this point in building the moss farm. So I had everything done except for one single sticky piston. I only had 3 slime balls and I needed 4 sticky pistons to get both of the 2 etho hopper clocks to work. So I had to go on a mission to find another slime and get that last slime ball I needed. I thought about going to a swamp and I tried to find one, but I gave up pretty quickly and decided to just go down into the mines down below here and try and find one in a slime chunk, because in, I think it might have been the first or second episode, I found a slime down in the caves and I looked back on the footage to find the slime chunk, so I went back there and dug the space out and then did a bunch of cave lighting in order to try and get a slime to spawn there again. Alright, I was just going and lighting up some of the caves around here for trying to get slimes to spawn in the slime chunk up there. And I wandered down this cave here and just take a look at this. Yeah. I found an ancient city. Oh, that's so cool. I have so many ideas for what I want to do with this later. Think I just found another spawner here. I'm really hoping it's a skeleton spawner. Ah, zombie spawner. You know, that's still good, but still have yet to find a skeleton spawner nearby the base. Hopefully I'll find one soon. Hopefully there is one at all. Oh! God apple, no way. Alright, I think I've given up on trying to find a slime ball in that slime chunk down there. I did a lot of cave lighting. I probably should have hollowed out more space in the chunk and made multiple platforms if I wanted to actually get a slime to spawn, but I just don't really want to start that. I mean, that's a whole nother project right now, and just trying to finish the slime farm, or the moss farm. That's literally all I need is the one slime ball. So I guess I'm going to go back to trying to find a swamp biome, because it should be a lot easier to find slimes there. Alright, I made it back to base. Finally, I got some slime balls. Along with a lot of other cool stuff. Alright, got about a stack of bone meal in there now. Now we can really test it for real. Pistons are not moving. Why are the pistons not moving? Oh, this hopper clock isn't moving. That's what's doing it. Oh, don't tell me. Is that... That's what it is. Okay. Right, so this lever for the rails up top, I think, is quasi-powering this piston here. I think that's the problem. What if I just make that a redstone block that the powered rail is sitting on? That might work. Okay. Yeah. I think I got it. Okay, all the moss is gone. And yep, bone meals it again, and the water comes out, washes it, the carpets away. One thing I did forget though, I need to fill in these corners because the hopper minecart can't pick up items if they're all the way in the corner here. Right, that should be everything now though. And the moss can't spread to these corners anyway, so it doesn't really matter that I'm blocking these off. I haven't looked up any farm tutorials or anything for this build here. I just wanted to kind of try and figure it all out myself. I'm not gonna lie, this was complicated. I'm not a real big redstone guy, at least not yet anyways. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm sure it could be more efficient. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but it was pretty satisfying to try and figure it all out on my own. So let me just check out on the chest here and see what it's looking like. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright, well, now that I've gotten this moss farm done, finally, I think I'm going to end it there for this episode. I obviously had different plans on that sign, but I severely underestimated the amount of farming it would take to get the blocks I wanted. Hopefully next time I'll get started on those paths, but we'll see. I'll also want to, clean this up and probably build some kind of building over top of this as well. But yeah, that'll be it for now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.